Midnight deadline for SIM registrations. Consultation on Disability Authority Bill launched. And PNG spice industry neglected and unsupported.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for tuning in. This is Monday's news. The National Information Communication and Technology Authority will commence auditing on the number of mobile phone users registered under the 3 telecommunication companies. NICTA CEO Charles Punaha said at midnight tonight, all unregistered SIM card holders will have their SIMs deactivated. The deactivation process is estimated to affect close to 1 million mobile phone users in the country.
The auditing that will be carried out by NICTA is to ensure the number of mobile phone users who register their SIM cards corresponds to the records each telecommunication companies provide to NICTA. NICTA expects to complete the audit within 2 months before a report can be released.
We have now distributed database verification and audit forms to all the network operators. And the audit and verification exercise will be starting next week, where our inspectors will be visiting each of the network operators, have access to their database to verify that numbers, SIM cards that have not been registered have actually been deactivated.
The deadline for SIM registration is midnight tonight. This follows a 22-month period given to mobile phone companies to register their customers through their SIM cards. Today, hundreds of mobile phone users in Port Moresby turned up at registration booths to register. According to statistics provided by NICTA, over 54% of mobile phone users in Port Moresby alone are yet to register.
NCD, in the case of DCCell, only 41% have registered. So another 59% yet to register in NCD. And this, to us, is not a very good indication of the willingness of the subscribers to have their SIM cards registered.
At midnight tonight, the registration time frame would have lapsed. Based on records provided by NICTA, over 1 million Digicel subscribers, thousands of B-Mobile Vodafone users and telecom customers may have their SIMs deactivated.
Unfortunately, this exercise again has not seen very much progress, and that again is an indication that subscribers are not willing to come forward and have their SIM cards registered. So the only way left for us is now to start the deactivation process.
NICTA says there will not be any extensions given to the deactivation deadline. Thus, those who are yet to register have until midnight tonight.
It is a requirement under the SIM card regulations 2016 that all mobile network operators, that's DCCell, Telecom, P-Mobile, Vodafone, are required by law to deactivate all SIM cards that are not registered.
Taklagunga, National EMTV News.
A court injunction on the deactivation of SIM cards was taken out by Midang MP Brian Kramer. We'll have that story later in the bulletin. The chairman of the Kutubu Disaster Response Committee is calling on leaders of Kutubu to work together and restore lives of those affected during the earthquake. Joe Masahimu says many issues have been raised regarding relief supplies and the temporary settlement of communities. He says leaders must work together for the better of everyone.
Speaking in Port Moresby, the small group of leaders want leaders of all levels of government, including community leaders, to work together. It says people remain in shock and need urgent help to restore their lives. Mr. Masahimu says leaders have taken sides while more work needs to be done.
Regardless of differences, on man meriam kisim bagarapa. You may need lo pung on them, sit down, come up on them, sample way where people can help him on man meriam place. Bagarapoli kisim pinis.
The Kutubu area of Southern Highlands was badly affected during the 7.6 magnitude earthquake which struck in February. Over 50,000 people in Kutubu were affected, with homes destroyed and food sources damaged. Despite the ongoing relief work and help given by different stakeholders, the community leaders want a better approach by leaders.
Still bagat issue. Na same time you got competition namelo relief supplies. Because the entire Kutubu LLG has been affected. All the money need him help him. That's what we play prioritize the line usai establish care centers. So you see the surrounding communities looking after those people. Only looking also treatment na one can only relief supplies he come go line care centers that's all. Now only come up in conflict on the line care center again one more legally help him. So the longer we have them staying in such places, but only go through some kind of problems where it can go out of hand.
In the Kutubu area, a care center was established at Pima gas station. Relief and health supplies have been constant, but leaders say the host community is concerned about the resettlement of the affected families.
Now, we believe also we are not here to talk against anybody, talk against the government or whoever or the stakeholders, though we have received some good responses by them. But we are here to go further in terms of assistance, in terms of reliefs. We want to create more dialogue and advocate those dialogues to the people of Kutubu.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
And back to our earlier story, Madang MP Brian Kramer has obtained a temporary court order to stop NICTA from deactivating unregistered SIM cards when the deadline lapses at midnight tonight. Kramer filed an urgent application at the National Court yesterday to extend the deadline for SIM registration for 14 more days. The interim order was granted by the Waigani National Court this morning.
Kramer argues that close to 80,000 Digicel subscribers in his electorate are yet to register, and the deactivation will affect mainly those in the rural areas. He stated that it took Digicel 10 years to reach 3 million subscribers, and for NICTA to give just 22 months for these customers to register is unrealistic.
Due to NICTA being short service, and they've consented to agree to a 14-day adjournment. So the court granted an interim injunction. The matter will return to court in 14 days, and I will then use that time to engage a counsel, a lawyer, to file formal proceedings to challenge the decision by NICTA in relation to deactivate some 1.5 million mobile users throughout the country.
The interim order means NICTA is prevented from starting the deactivation process at midnight tonight while the matter is argued in court. Kramer explains that the registration process required documents that most people in the rural areas do not have access to. This includes ID cards, birth certificates, or statutory declaration forms.
I think there's a disconnect between those that live in the comfort of Port Moresby and those that live in the challenging or remote parts of Papua New Guinea. 87% of our population live in remote, rural parts of Papua New Guinea. That is a fact. So if I'm in town, they deregister my phone, it'll take me less than half an hour to go down the street and reactivate it. For those living in remote parts of our country, including my own district, they have to travel days. They have to buy a bus fare, assuming the bus is even there. Then they have to, once they get into town, they have to find accommodation. Then they have to register, and then again, you need formal ID. That is a requirement by the regulation, of which somewhat 80% of Papua New Guinea do not have formal ID.
In yesterday's news conference, NICTA maintained that there will be no extension for the deadline.
Notice period for all consumers, subscribers in Papua New Guinea to have their SIM cards registered. The notice period amounts to 22 months, and that is more than sufficient and adequate time for subscribers to go to their service providers and have their SIM cards registered.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The Department of Community Development and Religion officially launched the Regional Consultation on the Disability Authority Bill 2018 today. The Constitutional Law Reform Commission has been instrumental in the build-up of the legal framework. This week-long consultation is now open to the general public in the southern region as part of the development process.
The first of the consultation series in the southern region for the Disability Authority Bill was launched today. The Constitutional Law Reform Commission has constructed the legal framework. However, the bill is now open to the general public, service providers, public servants, and people living with disabilities to review and critique.
Law reform is leading us through this process to ensure that we comply to the process and get to the final touch of taking this to Parliament.
CLRC Secretary Dr. Eric Kwa challenged stakeholders present at the launch to give input into the bill. He mentioned that drafting the law is not hard, but understanding it is where everybody has difficulties. Tying it back to the Constitution, Dr. Kwa mentioned that the first national goal themes on integral human development, where all citizens in PNG, unclassified, have the opportunity to develop as a whole person.
It's about protecting, giving the power to people with disability. That is the key.
Australian High Commission Councillor Governance Brendan Pierce was impressed with the framework.
When it comes to implementing a law like this to prosecute disability inclusive development in Papua New Guinea, Australia will still be there to work in partnership with PNG to get that work done.
The Southern Region consultation starts tomorrow. Service providers will be the first to give their opinions.
Responsible today announced that the regional consultation on this Draft Disability Authority Bill of 2018 is open for input, comments, critiques from relevant stakeholders and others, persons with disabilities and general public in the wider communities.
Lilian Sopera-Kinea, National EMTV News.
The University of Goroka says it has plans to become another medical school in the country. Pro-Chancellor Dr. Musawa Sinabare said UOG already has a midwifery program and it is logical to move in a medical program because there is a great demand for it. UOG is also expanding its presence in the Pacific and into other parts of the country.
We already have a medical program down here, the midwifery program. So our thinking is that with the absorption or incorporation of the nursing college and the midwifery, we could create an opportunity for University of Goroka to become another higher education provider in medical education. We are thinking of creating a school of medicine because we think that it is needed. Why? Because right now as we speak, the doctor per patient ratio is 1 to 20,000, which means that 20,000 people can't be able to see one doctor, not yet.
You're with National EMTV News. A look at the day's other stories when we come back on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Agriculture Minister Benny Allen has admitted that the spice industry has been neglected and unsupported for many years. Spice prices rival that of traditional crops including coffee and cocoa, but have not been given serious thought.
On the ground in the Eastern Highlands, there is no support going to the spice industry. Yet the Spice Board in Port Moresby has been allocated some 3 million kina in the 2018 budget for its operations. Agriculture Minister Benny Allen said on Friday a new board will be appointed, but whether that money will be seen by farmers remains to be seen.
But it's time for us to now stand up, come out of our office, the public servants, come out of our office and go and work with the farmers. Let's be real, huh?
Zacharias Ikio is one of several key players in the small spice industry that is being revived in the Eastern Highlands. In 2017, he and the group of farmers in the Agriculture Minister's electorate began processing and packaging spices.
People need them roughly about 21 machine or something, and me know how this will get that. Or some now art law make him this last, or me or some stacked up like.
The spice industry has over time has been neglected, meaning that funding has not been given to the Spice Board and the spice industry. So they have been not so much happening in the sector.
For decision makers in Port Moresby, spices are commodities that don't rank as high as coffee and cocoa in priority. And that's a problem for farmers who are dedicated to making it happen. Scott White, National EMTV News, Ley.
6 bakers in Port Moresby will take part in a bake-off this Sunday at the Lamana Gold Club as part of the Flame Cake Bake Show. The show, which started last year, has seen observers travelling in from other parts of PNG to witness the event. Apart from the bake-off, stalls by small business houses in Port Moresby will be on stage and a mini fashion show to complement the theme of the bake-off.
This is the second year for the Cake Bake Show in Port Moresby. The idea behind the show is to give opportunity to ordinary people who enjoy baking to showcase their techniques and also give them a platform to expose themselves.
We think it gives a great opportunity to both professionals and amateurs alike to showcase the wonderful things they can do with flour, but more importantly, it's going to give us a chance to showcase some of the ways in which we've changed and improved the recipes of our flour.
The 6 contestants who will be participating this Sunday have been selected through applications via Facebook. The live bake show will be judged in front of a live audience as well. Small businesses will also be displaying their products during the event and the public is encouraged to attend. Tickets are now selling at Wanto Clothing Shop, 20 kina for adults, 5 kina for kids and 40 kina for a family of 4. Stacey Yallo, National EMTV News.
Since the opening of the Cop Shop at 6 Mile 4 days ago, customers around 6 Mile have been moving around freely. The 6 Mile bus stop area has been known for various petty theft incidents and harassment of women. But now the place is generally clean. The Cop Shop was set up in partnership with the police and the Kalam Raman group of companies.
4 days after the establishment of the Cop Shop at 6 Mile by Kalam Raman group of companies, the 6 Mile bus stop and the store line area has been clean and calm unlike before.
Before I'm not people support na walk about na was I'm still passing stuff na people no around good. Now I'm people feeling alright to walk about because Cop Shop stop yeah. People alright to walk about. Not at this step. People walk about good. Na place them clear.
The store line also see a lot of customers coming in from Magi Highway who come to purchase food items in bulk and have been prone to petty theft such as bag snatching and harassment. The security guard at Happy Supermarket says the establishment of the cop shop has made their job easier as customers move around freely.
All steals come up lo slab, na whole drug body, all sparkman, na kain was 27 sa come up in Charleston, na mi plus security sa fight one time all kata time. Na osem look out in this la happy stop me looking osem plant kain something osem, but now me mama osem care every supermarket been providing on la kain lik police station lo front lo me plus so me plus mama so sem all can help me plus lo side lo lookouting lo care na all kata stores lo 6 mile.
Senior Inspector Fred Barre at the 6 Mile Police Station said the convenience of the cop shop being located in front of the shops and the bus stop was to re-establish police presence in the area. During the day, there are 6 police manning the area, and at nights, 2 policemen are stationed at the cop shop. Stacey Yallo, National EMTV News.
Police are investigating the death of 2 men who died after a vehicle was reportedly driven into them yesterday at Gomis Rugby League Oval in Mount Hagen, Western Highlands Province. The Provincial Police Commander, Chief Inspector Jacob Kamia, confirmed that the 2 men in their late 20s were from Engas Layagam district. Police say the vehicle owner drove into the men after his vehicle was accidentally stoned during a fight nearby. The relatives of the deceased are demanding for the suspect to surrender to the police. The situation is still tense. Classes at the nearby Tarangao Primary School have been suspended as a result. The Provincial Police Commander Kamiak said they are negotiating for calm between both parties. The man who was arrested and charged for sexually abusing his sister-in-law appeared at the Leh District Court today for his second hearing. 39-year-old Robin Borezi was apprehended by Leh police in January. He was charged for rape, deprivation of liberty and 2 counts of unlawful wounding. Borezi's case was adjourned today after prosecutors failed to specify the 2 counts of unlawful wounding stated in his court file.
This is the second time Robin Borezi has appeared in court. A decision was supposed to be made today. However, Magistrate Edward Kupo said prosecutors have to distinguish the 2 separate counts of unlawful wounding stated in Borezi's court file. He said both charges were similar and had to be covered under one charge. Robin Borezi was apprehended in January this year by the 3 Mile Police in Leh. He was arrested for sexually abusing and torturing his sister-in-law, going further to mutilating her private parts. The abuse went on unreported for several months because he threatened to kill her and hurt her children if she went to police. He was arrested for rape, deprivation of liberty and 2 counts of unlawful wounding. The magistrate said today that the prosecutors have to clarify the charges of unlawful wounding before a ruling can be made. Borezi is being remanded at the Buimo prison and will appear in court on the 9th of May. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Stories making headlines overseas. When we come back, stay tuned for the details. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, President Trump's tough immigration policy has been put to the test at the border between Mexico and the U.S. near San Diego. Hundreds of migrants are seeking asylum, but the president ordered the Department of Homeland Security not to let anyone into the country.
Tonight, the border showdown. Some protesters scaling the border fence, supporters cheering on as nearly 200 migrants defiantly approach the U.S. border seeking asylum, hoping this is the end of a grueling month-long journey from Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala through Mexico, traveling by train, bus, and on foot, leading here to the San Diego border. In Tijuana and just feet away in California, celebrations and protests this weekend.
If they really wanted asylum, they would have claimed asylum in Mexico.
Greeting those hundreds of migrants now here, they say, seeking asylum away from gang violence, LGBT persecution, and other dangers back home.
You see kids, you see mothers, you see men like me, we're fighting to, for a better future.
But President Trump has been warning for weeks that this caravan needs to be stopped.
Are you watching that mess that's going on right now with the caravan coming up?
Using their story to help push his border security goals. The president ordering the deployment of hundreds of National Guard troops along the U.S.-Mexican line. Tonight, at our country's busiest border crossing, these migrants now facing uncertain futures.
China is hoping to rival Hollywood with the launch of the world's biggest film studio. The project is bankrolled by one Chinese billionaire.
If all goes to plan, the next film you watch will be made here. Qingdao is best known for China's most famous beer. But billionaire Wang Jianlin wants it to be known as a movie-making mecca. He made his fortune from China's property boom. He's now seeking to become the country's equivalent of Walt Disney.
We have the confidence and the ability to make Qingdao the centre of the global film industry.
Wang Jianlin owns a major Hollywood studio, America's largest cinema chain, and Hoyt Cinemas, and he survived recent debt troubles to see the opening of his crowning jewel.
Now that we've completed this movie Metropolis, we have a very important mission to promote it globally, to attract Chinese and foreign film crews.
There are 40 sound stages here, including this one, the world's biggest. These studios have actually been operating for a little while now, but so far only a handful of films have been made here. Like many things in China, it's a case of build it and they will come.
Getting talented people with good skills to work on international productions will be a big challenge, and the language differences too will make it hard for overseas crews.
But the biggest problem with China's film industry is the heavy-handed censorship that's getting tighter and tighter under President Xi Jinping. Nationalistic films thrive here, but don't sell overseas. Attempts to blend Chinese and Hollywood storylines have largely flopped. China may now have the newest and biggest studios, but luring the world's best filmmakers here won't be easy.
In New Zealand, an investigation is underway after torrential rain burst the banks of the Rotorua stream, forcing hundreds to evacuate. A state of emergency remains in place as residents return to their homes to begin the massive cleanup.
Caught out.
Poor dog, she's freaking out.
And watching on helplessly.
House is underwater.
Nōtaha resident Haere Te Are, now homeless after floodwaters swallowed her home and treasured possessions.
And I thought, okay, we need to evacuate, so packed our bags and got the cats and the dog and sort of pretty much had to wave out to the fire brigade to come and save us.
Her property, one of 30 evacuated after the Nōtaha River burst its banks.
By the time we got out of the vehicles, man, that water was just pumping down there like, you know, bubbling champagne.
And just down the road, Bo Rogers is still in shock.
Well, as you can see, it's, well, I know, I'm still speechless.
He's always wanted a swimming pool, but never imagined it quite like this.
The river's just risen up, and over the back fence, the water's just poured down, and within an hour, it turned into this.
Many One News spoke to said there was little warning and just enough time to flee.
We got 1.5 times the national average of rainfall in a day that we've ever seen in April. You can't foresee that deluge of water and the effects in a caldera like this.
In fact, a lot of the systems coped much better yesterday than what we're anticipating.
The Mayor says a thorough investigation will take place to find out how the stream rose so rapidly. Civil Defence is warning residents to be mindful of contaminated flood water and damaged electrical boards. Meanwhile, the community is rallying around those worst hit.
Bit emotional going into the house, watching all the kids' toys float around.
An emotional toll and a clean-up that's expected to take some time.
And back home, Hagi Oil Palm Limited today commemorated 40 years of production in Papua New Guinea. Owned by a Belgian company with multinational footprints in several countries in the Asia-Pacific region, Hagi Oil Palms exported over 154,000 tons of palm oil last year alone, processed at its 3 mills located in Biala, West New Britain, turning it into a considerable contributor of foreign currencies, besides creating employment to over 4,500 people, mostly Papua New Guineans.
Hagi Oil Palms Limited today commemorated 40 years of production in Papua New Guinea. Owned by the Belgian CPEF, a multinational with a footprint in several countries in the Asia-Pacific region, Hagi Oil Palms exported over 144,000 tons of palm oil last year alone, turning Hagi into a considerable contributor of foreign currency in Papua New Guinea, besides creating employment to over 4,500 people. Hagi Palm Oils Limited Chairman Francois Van Hooydonk explained the importance of a sustainable production of palm oil, as well as the wider role of a company that sees its investment in Papua New Guinea as a long-term commitment.
In CPEF, we were mainly in Indonesia, but decided at a certain moment that it was time to, look to other places, and Papua New Guinea as one of the most fertile, areas in the PNG in the palm oil world, I would say. So we decided that Papua New Guinea was probably the best place to go. And 40 years we started here in a very small venture, as being mentioned, with 600 hectares and no palm oil mill. And we developed it in 40 years to something like 13,600 hectares of planted oil palm and 3 mills producing about 160,000 tons of oil, sustainable palm oil. And that, I think, is very, very important that we add that word.
Marco Venditti, National EMTV News.
We go for another breather, but stay tuned. We have Trukai Sports coming your way next.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The SPPNG Open ended yesterday with Daniel Gale winning the title in the final round. Starting with a 3-shot buffer at 17 under, Gale flew home with a round of 6 under 66 to finish on 23 under 265, a commanding 9 shots ahead of his nearest rival. He also becomes the first player to win the Morbe Open on the Ladbrokes Pro-Am Series in SPPNG Open in successive weeks since Michael Wright in 2009. For winning the SPPNG Open, Gale now has full status on the ISPS Honda PGA Tour of Australasia. After round 8 of the Queensland Intra Super Cup, the Hunters sit second last on the ISC points ladder. They suffered another loss last weekend to competition leaders Burleigh Bears.
This is the Hunters' 4th straight loss after last weekend's match. Though the Hunters got off to a comfortable lead early in the match, that did not stop the Bears, as they scored 3 quick tries in the last 10 minutes to beat the Hunters 34 points to 18. The weekend's defeat has also seen the Bears reclaim the Kokoda Cup for another year. The Hunters have just won 2 out of 8 matches and are 1 place above of last place Mackay Cutters on points difference. The Hunters are seeking back-to-back premierships this season but have had a horror start. Coach Michael Marum has added 3 new players from the Intercity Cup competition in the likes of Thompson Tete, Joe Joshua and Stanford Talita to the Hunters 2018 team. They have a bye this weekend and will face Winnemandi Seagulls in round 10. Elijah Levette, National EMTV Sports.
To football, Medang FC were beaten by Besta PNG United 2-0 at home in the last round of the National Soccer League at Laiwaden in Medang over the weekend. Medang were made to look ordinary by the highly talented, youthful Besta PNG United side.
PNGFA Academy side, Besta had the flow of play to pepper the defense line with several missed opportunities, but Medang held firm to 0-0 at half-time. However, the break gave Besta the much-needed second win as they left the flat-footed Medang side struggling to regain composure. Besta's quick passing game left Medang defense open, creating opportunity for Jonathan Allen to open the score sheet in the 88th minute. Besta's Ricky Waduna proved to be a class act alongside Emmanuel Simongi, dictated the midfield with their quick passing game. With 3 minutes remaining, young Waduna scored Besta's second goal and held on to win. Besta PNG United team manager Bessie Simongi congratulated his boys for the win and said this win has now put them in the race for the second spot. Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
Don't go away. Trukai Sports continues after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. A number of professional boxers in the country will prepare for the first international fight against Indonesia in June this year. The event is an opportunity for pro boxers to showcase their skills and market their talent to attract sponsors. It's the first of 2 sanctioned international bouts for 2018. Gordon Eki reports.
Ten professional fighters took to the ring on Sunday in a bid to win a spot for this year's international bout. The main aim of the tournament was to select and identify the best fighters and to represent PNG. President of Professional Boxing, Elwin Wofewa, says the potential for PNG professional boxers to represent the country is there, but the skill level required and the familiarization of the ring is what fighters in the country need the most to compete at a higher level.
From this 2018 event, I have selected the best fighters from PNG now. I can see some big changes between the boxers that I developed. I developed a lot of boxers. They've been outside from the street. I bring them in the boxing ring, gym, train them, and now in this event, I can definitely see that I've been doing something, and I grade a lot of boxers there in the standard now. They meet the requirement from this event.
Winning fighters from the tournament will be mobilized in a confined gym to prepare for the upcoming international bout if high-level performance is expected from the fighters.
We try to host the international event on June. So in June we have Indonesia coming in. We signed already the contract between Indonesian embassy, and we prepare all the boxers with connection. We do everything. The thing now, we are looking forward to our sponsors. We need our sponsors to sponsor this event. By next year, we should market our international fighters to the big gym in the world.
One thing that has stressed the association most is the lack of support and financial constraints professional boxing gym is facing.
Now we are grading them international standard. Those fighters like Douglas Wallo and Junior Raka is moving into box rec now. Box rec means in a world ranking. So our Papua New Guinea fighters now, from this performance, I can see Raka and Douglas and Jason, they are stepping up. Also the Jimmy Pius. Those are the fighters where I'm focusing to market them by next year.
The long-term goal of professional boxing gym is to give PNG professional boxers the exposure they need. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Now to an inspirational story of a football player with only one hand. He has been drafted into America's NFL. Shaquem Griffin overcame incredible odds to join the Seahawks.
Shaquem Griffin, linebacker.
Jubilation.
I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what to say.
Inspiration.
I have a lot of people to prove wrong. Got a lot of doubters.
Shaquem Griffin is going to the NFL. The 4th pick of the 5th round, taken by the Seattle Seahawks. His twin brother Shaquille's team.
Definitely kept his name, fresh in the building.
The road here, some would say impossible. Born with a non-fully formed left hand because of amniotic band syndrome, the Griffins elected to amputate the hand at age 4 to ease his daily pain.
The first thing I thought growing up, what people are going to say.
how he's going to be able to handle it as a little kid.
Let's go!
But smashing barriers and proving doubters wrong became Shaquem's focus.
Hit right away by Shaquem Griffin.
Just needed somebody to give me a chance to show them that I can.
Even as a high school and UCF star, he wasn't initially invited to work out for NFL teams. Reports were some wouldn't consider drafting a player with one hand. At that workout, he impressively lifted weights using a prosthetic and ran faster than any linebacker in 12 years.
Absolutely dominating.
Shaquem Griffin's dream realized. The impact he's having on others, lasting.
I can't wait to cheer you on in the NFL. Good luck!
The sale of the Auckland Warriors is all set to go through after months of speculation. The big winner out of this is said to be the Grassroots.
Graham Lowe's often in the know when it comes to rugby league in New Zealand, and while this is hardly a big press conference, he has big news.
There's a bit more stuff that needs to be sorted out over the next couple of days, but I think new ownership is imminent.
Over the next few days, the Warriors NRL club finally looks set to be bought from Eric Watson by the Carlaw Park Heritage Trust. I spoke on the phone with Trust Chairman Cameron McGregor. He didn't want to appear on camera until the deal is officially signed, but he expects to hold a press conference here at Warriors headquarters later this week. He says at this point all of the major hurdles have been overcome, and he sees no reason why the deal shouldn't happen. The Trust's only beneficiary is Auckland Rugby League, the original owners of the club. Those who love the game in New Zealand say this is the best outcome for the sport.
There's genuine pathways that will be visible from the grassroots of the game of rugby league here in Auckland, right through to the professional level of the Warriors.
Just last month we joined Richard Fale, whose American group was investigating buying the club. Their patience is now wearing thin.
The chaos of rugby league in the city of Auckland and the country of New Zealand, the lack of know-how, the interest just really isn't there anymore to deal with the soap opera.
And while the soap opera isn't over yet, Lowe is pretty sure we're about to see the final episode.
If it doesn't happen, I'll eat that hat.
Whether Auckland Rugby League will get to dine out on any Warriors' success this year should be confirmed this week.
And that's a wrap on Trukai Sports. Up next, the weather details for tonight and tomorrow.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region, Port Moresby partly cloudy tonight and increased cloud cover tomorrow. In Daru, a passing shower or two late this evening with spotty morning showers tomorrow. In Kerema, brief shower or two later and an afternoon shower can be expected tomorrow. And in Alotau, partly cloudy with a late thunderstorm tonight, spotty afternoon showers tomorrow. In Popondetta, a thunderstorm tonight and clouds and sun with a shower tomorrow. In the Momase region, cloudy with a shower in late tonight and a morning rain, then some overcast can be expected tomorrow. In Wau, an early shower, then warm and cloudy with a little morning rain tomorrow. In Madang, a shower or two early, cloudy weather tomorrow. And in Wewak, occasional rain and a thunderstorm, heavy early morning showers. In Vanimo, cloudy with a thunderstorm in some spots, continuing throughout the day tomorrow. In the New Guinea Islands region, late heavy showers in Lorengau tonight, cloudy with a thunderstorm tomorrow. In Kavieng, a thunderstorm or two late tonight, cloudy with showers tomorrow. In Kimbe, considerable clouds tonight, afternoon thunderstorms can be expected tomorrow. In Rabaul and Kokopo, cloudy and warm tonight, cloudy with a thunderstorm tomorrow. And in Buka, some rain and a thunderstorm tonight, morning thunderstorm then clearing tomorrow. In the Highlands region, a thunderstorm early, then cloudy tonight, and afternoon thunderstorms in spots tomorrow. In Kundiawa, a couple of thunderstorms with an afternoon thunderstorm expected tomorrow. In Mount Hagen, a shower early and mostly cloudy tonight with passing afternoon showers tomorrow. And in Mendi and Wabeg, thundery showers in spots with a couple of afternoon showers tomorrow. And in Tari, cloudy with thunderstorms in spots, and tomorrow a thunderstorm in the area.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Before we go, recapping our main stories again. If you haven't registered your SIM yet, the deadline is midnight tonight. Consultation on Disability Authority Bill launched, and PNG Spices neglected and unsupported. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight, Monday, 30th of April 2018. On behalf of the entire EMTV news team, pleasant viewing and good night.